there are some OS level, then the software level vulnerabilities which Pacman will be able to auto discover and report. So that capability is there in Pacbot. Okay, probably this will interest you most. A bit complex, but yeah, this is how today the Pacbot architecture looks like. So as I said, we have a lot of ingesters here. So these are the plugins. These are the plugins collectors, which collects the data from all the systems you see on the site. So, and the ones which are in dark blue, they are already in place. One is which are lighter. We are still finishing them. So how it works is all the data from all these sources is collected back to our we call it data lake, Pacbot data lake, where you see the Pacbot persistent storage. It's made up of MySQL, Elasticsearch for fast query search capabilities, S3 bucket, DynamoDB, and Kinesis. Kinesis I'll touch upon just a bit late. And then this is the core. This is the core of Pacbot, which is rule engine. It makes sure that your rules are invoked for each asset which we discover, and these are the components which are there in the rule. It did introduce some machine learning on rule engine, which is right now it will be able to detect the anomalies. For example, yesterday you had 10 S3 bucket. Tomorrow suddenly you had you started showing up with 100. So probably it will say, okay, maybe there is a problem. Maybe there is somebody who accessed your infrastructure and created too many resources. You saw some dashboards, right? They all are based built on Angular. We have a whole set of API exposed. If you want to integrate some other systems with Pacbot, so the same APIs are integrated to Slack, Alexa, and everywhere else. Even the Angular client is a consumer of those APIs. So this is how the architecture of Pacbot looks like. Do you have any question on? Yeah.
I'm surprised you. So you do a multi-cloud type of application? Because I see that you're using also Google Cloud.
Pacbot is a compliance system. Doesn't care where the data is coming from. So right now it is coming from AWS. We are going to adopt Google soon. Right now we are on Azure. So once you inject the data, you write a rule, it will work for that data set. It's not that you can just do AWS. It's happened to be that we started from AWS, but now it's a generic enough system that you can use to gauge the compliance of any data set.
Can you do
anything?
Time?
We are already doing it for Bitbucket compliance, our development pipelines compliance. We are already doing it. So you get the data, you write a rule, Pacman will make sure that the rule is running on this.
So I've seen that you have other security assessment tools there. So does it mean that Pacbot will be looking into those assessments, and their Apple will be the one doing?
So what we do is, for example, I'll take an example of Qualys. What Pacbot is doing is, we get all the data from cloud, we get all the data from on-prem. We get all the data from Qualys, and that's how we print the vulnerability report. We try to match it. So we massage the data and we try to make sense of it using getting the data from multiple sources. Yeah. So yeah.
So I actually have a question. So instead we can customize the rules, but if we use this software, could we get a default best practice rules out of the box?
Yes. So we have today we have 165 rules, out of which I think we have open sourced 50, which are already there in Git repo. I have QR codes for our Git repo and all. You guys can just take a click and you can visit from the start. So this is a slide showing all the capabilities Pacbot has today. Not everything may make sense for the cloud, because as I said, we are using Pacbot. It started as a AWS compliance system, but now it's a generic system to gauge the compliance of any data set. So there are some domains which we are using it for, but these are the typical capability slide where Pacbot has compliance assessment, continuous monitoring, dynamic perspectives. So we Packbot work on top of T-Mobile assets, but maybe my team, I want to just see my assets. I am not bothered about what other team is doing. So you can create those dynamic perspectives in Packbot to see just your resources. That can be, and those can be built based on your attributes from the resources. So let's say you want to see all the S3 buckets where the name starts with Kamal. You will be able to build that perspective and see the data compliance based just on that. We call it asset groups in Packbot. Yeah. So sometimes there is a need of having a S3 bucket public because you want to publish a website or which is public facing. So what happens in that case? I mean, Packbot is going to say, okay, this is a violation of this policy and going to close it, or what? So you have a ability to go and exempt a resource from being acted upon. So that is called exception management. You can request for an exception, and then if that resource is exempted, it will not be actioned upon by Packbot. However, it will be assessed continuously. So when the exception expires, it will go and fix it again. So that capability is there in Packbot. Yeah. So these are the Packbot GitHub repo link. This is our open source website where we have many other projects which are open sourced on serverless, Jazz, and everything.
So actually just read the documentation yesterday. If I understand correctly, if we want to use Packbot today, we have to install it and host it by ourselves.
That's correct. It's not a
This
SaaS.
is actually amazing, true, but I'm pretty, maybe a little bit greedy. So my question is T-Mobile planning to maybe host this software and just offer it to the end user as a service? So we can just maybe pay a little bit subscription fee, but I don't want to deal with patching, installation, manage the resource,
Nick would be the right person. What we are trying right now is we are trying to trim down Packbot because we built it for enterprise initially, but now we want small companies to use it. So we are trimming down the heavy lifts. For example, we have recently took the Redshift piece off from Packbot. So we are trying to make it as slim as possible so that small companies can install it and use it. Yeah, so that is already taken care. And for a typical account, probably the cost of this, as we assessed last, with some maybe hundreds of resources, $40 a day is what the